Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about culture media. Earlier, we have discussed culture media and simple media under that. Today, we will be discussing differential media and selective media. So, before I start with these two types of media, we will quickly discuss about what culture media are. Although I have already given a video wherein we have discussed what culture media are and also simple media in details. Culture media are synthetic media that are used in the laboratory to isolate bacteria. Media are also available for different kind of microorganism, but we will keep this discussion or video confined to bacteriological media. Culture media has certain synthetic components that supports the growth of bacteria, and of course they need the optimum temperature for the growth. There are different types of culture media, different ways of classifying culture media. It's a very vast topic, so I have broken it down into various videos. So today we will be discussing about differential media and selective media. So before I go deeper into differential media, first I want to learn you what you can learn from the name. If you see the name differential media, what do you think? Some of you might know exactly what it is. For some of you it might be a new thing. So differential media means the media that differentiates bacteria into two groups. So basically, using these media, you can also identify the organism to some extent. So, differential media is used to differentiate bacteria into two groups based on some character. It can be the hemolysis pattern, it can be a sugar fermenting ability. Let me show you the first slide. One second. Yes, the first slide. In the first slide, I have just given you the introduction, where is what is differential media. So this media has it's a kind of media that differentiate bacteria into two groups, whether based on a sugar fermentation ability or hemolysis. And this bacteria have different type of ingredients like some dyes or chemicals that are present in them, and these give certain colors, and based on the color you can differentiate, because if the bacteria is just growing without any identification feature, you're not able to differentiate. So either you will see some color formation based on which you can see from your naked eyes and conclude that these are the characters present or absent in the particular organism that is growing on this medium. It's better to always discuss with examples. Here I am showing you an example. McConkey agar. McConkey agar, why I put McConkey agar? There are many differential media, but when I will take an example, I'll always take something which is very commonly used and which is very common, you know them. So McConkey agar is one media that is very commonly used in a diagnostic lab or a clinical microbiology lab. So if you can see this picture, both of these plates are McConkey agar. But you see the different types of colonies, different type of colonies. The color of the colony, here it is pink in color and here it is pale color. Now, why different colors? Definitely these are two different organisms, but on the same media, why one is showing pink color and one is showing pale color? So McConkey agar, we will discuss the principle of McConkey agar here. McConkey agar has a sugar called lactose incorporated into it, and it also has an indicator called neutral red. So if a bacteria has the ability to ferment lactose that is present in the media, it will ferment it, and once the lactose is fermented or broken down, it will produce acid. This acid that is produced will bring down the pH of the medium, and at a lower pH, the indicator neutral red will show its color, and that is why you see pink color colonies. Let's come down to the other diagram over here. Here you don't see the pink colonies. That means what has happened? Here This media is also in McConkey agar. This media also has neutral red indicator. It also has lactose. But the organism, the bacteria that is growing on it, is not capable of breaking down lactose or fermenting lactose. So, since the lactose is not fermented or utilized, there is no acid production. And since no acid is produced, the pH of this media has remained the same, which is alkaline. So the neutral red, as we discussed earlier, will show its color only in acidic, or will change the color only when the medium is acidic. So due to non-fermentation of lactose here, the media is not becoming acidic, and that's why you see colonies that are pale in color or not pink. I hope you understood this example. So this is how this is a differential medium. Of course, this is a differential medium because this is differentiating bacteria into two groups, lactose fermenting and lactose non-fermenting. Lactose fermenting colonies will get pink color, non-lactose fermenting colonies will get pale color. Why? That I have already explained, because of non-fermentation of lactose here. The acidic pH was not attained, and the neutral red has not shown changed its color. Here the lactose was fermented, and so the neutral red changes color because of the production of the acid. So this is McConkey agar. We will again take example of a very common bacteriological media, which is the differential media, blood agar. Now blood agar, if you see here, I have shown you three blood agar plates, and all three of them have different types of hemolysis. The first one has beta hemolysis, second one has alpha hemolysis, and the third one has gamma hemolysis. Now blood agar is a medium that differentiates bacteria into three categories as beta hemolytic, alpha hemolytic bacteria, and non hemolytic or gamma hemolytic bacteria. So it is not necessary that you always see a color, then only you can call it a differential media. The bacteriological medium can differentiate bacteria based on any character. For example, you can see the difference between McConkey and blood agar. McConkey, the differentiation was done based on the color of the colony due to the presence of an indicator. Here you don't have an indicator, you have the RBCs of the blood agar that are being lysed. So the method or the principle can be different, but the ultimate result is that they are able to differentiate the organism into two or three groups based on a certain factor. So this was differential media, and I have explained it how it is in McConkey agar, and how blood agar is a differential medium. Next, we will move on to selective medium. Now, just like how we explained differential medium, we will first start with the name, selective media. Selective media means, from the name itself you can tell that it selects the organism, or it is selective for a certain organism. That means it will allow the growth of only one or two type of organism. So these are called selective media. And how is that possible? Because these media are specifically designed for one or two organisms. So what happens is, um, these organisms, these media have certain chemicals or antibiotics incorporated into them, which makes the growth of only one organism selective, and the others cannot grow in it. So you can say, in a very common language, you can say that it has certain inhibitors. So for those organisms that it does not want to grow, it will have inhibitors against them, and because of that it will not grow, and only your bacteria of interest to which it is selective will only grow on selective media. These are some example of selective media. Now here you can see McConkey again. So one media can be differential as well as selective. There is no problem in that. It can have both the feature. Why McConkey is a selective medium? Because it is selective for only gram negative bacteria. That means only gram-negative organism can grow on Mekongki agar. Eosin methylene blue agar. So eosin methylene blue agar is also very selective for gram negative bacteria, and it has methylene blue in it, which is toxic for gram positive bacteria. So it does not allow the growth of gram positive bacteria. So likewise, I have some put up some examples here that you can see, and you can learn what selective medias are and how it helps. Now, since we are discussing about selective media, again, I would like to give you an example, a very good example and very practical example about selective media is when you have stool sample in the lab and you have to do culture of that stool sample. So, selective media is very important when you have a sample where there is a lot of normal flora or lot of bacteria that are going to cause contamination. So in those cases, if you have a mixture of organism present in your sample, you must always go for selective media, and that will selectively grow only the pathogen and suppress the growth of the rest of normal bacteria or the contaminants. The best example is Salmonella shigella agar. Salmonella shigella agar is a selective media that is used for stool sample, and it will only allow the growth of Salmonella or Shigella in the medium. So you can imagine a sample like stool can have so many gut flora. You know, normally there are so many bacteria present in the intestine and they all will grow. If you don't use a selective media, they all will grow and your pathogen will be lost. You'll never be able to isolate your pathogen. So, as a lab technician, you should be very careful while selecting your media. So, anytime if you see a sample where there is a chance of contamination or mixture, so you always go and select a selective media that can allow the growth of your organism of interest. So, like what I gave you the example, Salmonella shigella agar. Salmonella shigella agar will show only the colonies of Salmonella and Shigella if at all they are present in the stool, and nothing else will grow on Salmonella shigella agar. If the same sample you inoculate on a non-selective medium, you will see that so many things, different type of colonies will appear. But the same sample on the same day, if you inoculate on a selective medium, only Salmonella shigella, if it is present, will grow. Otherwise, there will be no growth. The plate will be having no colonies on it at all. So, uh, this is examples that I have given. Eosin methylene blue agar, where the gram-negative organisms are growing. Hector and enteric agar. Then this is again Mekongki agar, where it is selective for gram-negative organism, and mannitol salt agar, which is selectively giving yellow colonies for Staphylococcus aureus. So. The use of selective media is a very advanced form of media wherein from the first step only you will be able to start your identification process. Like I said, in Salmonella Shigella agar, if only Shigella or Salmonella or both are growing, it becomes very easy for you to identify, because this media is only going to allow the growth of a particular organism. And if something is growing, you are pretty sure that yes, it is the organism that is selective for this media, and you can go on and do your biochemical test, your serotyping to further identify this bacteria. So that was about selective media and differential media. Now quickly I will summarize differential media and selective media. So differential media are the media that differentiates bacteria into two different categories. So in case of Mekongki agar, the categories are lactose fermenting and non-lactose fermenting. You can see the pink colonies which are lactose fermenting, and in the picture below you can see no pink colonies, so these are non-lactose fermenting. In blood agar, you can see different types of hemolysis and categorize your organism based on that. Selective media means these are the media that selectively supports the growth of only one or two type of organism, and it's very important when you have a contaminated sample or sample with lot of mixed normal flora, like stool sample or even for sputum sample, it is very helpful. So I hope your concept about selective media and differential media is quite clear now, but definitely you should go back and read your textbooks and come back with your doubts, and I'll be able to answer all your doubts. So please go through your books and read them. Thank you so much.